As they continued their forest walk, perplexed by the range of unknown species they had met that day, the girl and boy noticed a large shadow darkening the sun. They held their arms over their eyes as they soon noticed feathers in their view. Closer and closer it approached until they recognized a phoenix descending into the space. As it gracefully landed in a bed of fallen leaves, they noticed another bird behind it landing as well. 2 birds within 1 shot, thought the boy. The first phoenix introduced himself. I am Feng, and this is my lovebird, Huang. We come in peace. Huang held out a lovely fiery orange garnet as she proclaimed, Healthy loving recognizes balances. When you find this balance, you will find eternal reward. And without another word, the boy and girl saw the phoenix rising back into the warming sunlight. And they set the orange garnet into the crown as gem number 7, healthy loving recognizes balances. I once taught Sunday school at church for a small group of darling toddlers. I stole a bucket of plastic blocks from the nursery next door to teach my little lesson on keeping God's commandments. I really just meant to keep their hands busy while I attempted to teach even the smallest of virtues. I divided the blocks amongst the group of 5 boys and girls and let them build while we talked about not lying, not cheating, not stealing, and so forth. I soon noticed frustration as none of them could keep even 3 blocks erect on the base of tight carpet. I sprung into action as I noticed the potential here. I said, crawling in my skirts onto the floor with them, Hey, should we try something? Everyone push your blocks to the middle. I formed a flat base of 4 blocks, each touching one another, and asked one girl, What can you do to keep God's commandments? She answered, Share my toys with my brother. To which I encouraged her to add her block in the center above the base of 4. A young boy caught on quickly and offered, Do my jobs when my mom asks. To which he then added his block. The children insisted on more and more turns, and soon we were adding blocks in a frenzy, forgetting to mention how we'll keep God's commandments. And I smartly implemented a tool I once saw the Oreo Stacker world record keeper use. The young man trying to build the highest Oreo tower of 21 cookies would straighten out the cookies from time to time so they didn't cause less integrity to the tower. I did this, straightening all those blocks until the very last block, reaching as high as one of the children. We clapped and celebrated, and one boy, of course, immediately asked if he could knock it over. We enjoyed the structure a moment later, then cheered as it toppled. Initially, we couldn't do much when the blocks rested on the bumpy carpet, but once we set that foundation, off we went. Such it is with marriage. We must set our blocks and foundation to build a strong, stately tower of height and success. So let me introduce you to the 4 stacking block essentials of a successful marriage. The first block, L on the block, is for love. Selfless, humble, patient, forgiving, hopeful, kind, unfailing love. The next block, the T block, is for trust, a rock-solid connector as long as it is cherished and protected. The third block, C, is for commitment, keeping vows and covenants no matter what. Commitment is the cornerstone that supports security, which ironically creates freedom, like my teaching those toddlers about keeping the commandments so they can be ultimately free. And finally, the 4th block, F. Faith is the chief cornerstone. Faith stems from a belief in the marriage system that encourages you that your investment will be worth it. Faith unites the entire structure so that it stands straight and tall, as will your marriage. At its core, the chief cornerstone is Jesus Christ. Faith in a power greater than our own, which makes our marriage greater too. Ephesians 2:19-21 says, Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints, and of the household of God, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord. These 4 blocks create a balanced loving. As you'll see on each of these blocks, I have 4 characteristics of balanced loving. The first one on the love block is eliminating negativity. We can stop negative thought patterns, not allow our concerns to become worries. We can choose to avoid nagging and constant criticism, and we can process our negative emotions. There are so many ways to process our negative emotions, but the most effective way that I find is through a burn journal where I can just write down the things that are bothering me for no one ever to see them. It's like a therapist on paper. The next block, the blue block of trust, has emphasizing the positive. We can recognize positive qualities and feel gratitude and forgiveness towards our spouse. We can have faith and trust in ourselves, in other people, and in God. On the green block, commitment, we have letting things go. Letting go of enmeshment and codependent behaviors that make both of you dependent on each other for your being okay. Letting go of unhealthy control. Understanding what we can change and cannot change, and letting others be responsible and grow. And reset, releasing our burdens and cares, allowing ourselves freedom and happiness in our lives. More on reset in a moment. And the last block, faith, building up more of what we need. We communicate respectfully, honestly, expressing our concerns. We establish healthy boundaries without blame, shame, or anger. We accept reality, living presently, and we express and work for more of what we need instead of what we don't need. These 4 stacking blocks create balance. If it feels like your marital tower is continually falling over, you can't keep it straight and tall, know this: life is just that. Tumbling tower after tumbling tower. You figure out new things that work. You reach a new level, which requires a newly built tower to level up. You are learning, and the longer it takes to learn the lesson, the harder to keep the tower upright, the longer the effects of the lesson learned. That is, if you don't give up and let the blocks stay scattered. When done well, you learn tips and techniques that keep the tower taller longer. You correct your course, find the areas of weakness in the structure, and renew your trust, commitment, faith, and love. And remember this: you haven't wasted anything. You couldn't have had a different or better marriage than exactly the one you have. It's all correct for you, and you can look forward to a bright relationship moving forward. On the letting go block, I mentioned reset, which I love the idea of, and which I must expound on here. The movie The Cutting Edge from the 90s has a young man and woman competing in figure skating. The young woman, Kate, realizes the power of being able to use her toe pick on the front of her skate to stop or create friction to make the moves she wants. She taunts her dancing partner, Doug, by yelling out, "Toe pick!" At times she uses it, and he should have as well, and didn't. I changed toe pick in my life to reset. You can reset anything you want to, just like you might a phone, a password, or a sink disposal. You don't have to keep what's behind you. Unuseful ruminating thoughts? Reset. Be done with those thoughts. Got a bad habit? Reset. Onto a more helpful habit. Have parts of a relationship you regret? Reset. To better parts of a relationship. If you've had a marriage history you'd rather not repeat, know that you can always reset your marriage. Every day can start anew with a new set of blocks to build your marriage that day. And when you fall into he said, she said, or he'll never, or I'll never, or this is just the way he is, or I am, time for reset. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, what do I need to reset? And better yet, make it a mental habit to reset when you get stuck in the negativity of the tumbling blocks. As a married couple, we are a team. Like blocks, we build each other up. Together, we are strong. I only benefit when I build him up so that we can both be greater. Like a dance duo, we finish the dance holding on to each other. Now for a date and dessert idea. Go build something. A snowman, a fort, a Jenga tower. Build a bear, like a love bear. And for dessert, you can build ice cream sundaes or a layered cake. The sky is the limit.